Good morning, everyone. My name is Theo, and I'm going to talk about hesitation disfluencies in spontaneous speech. Also, the meaning of and Human speech is peppered with ums and uhs, among the other signs of hesitation disfluencies in the planning process. But are these so-called fillers or field process intentionally uttered by speakers? Or are they side effects of difficulties in the planning process? And how do listeners respond to them? The present paper review evidence concerning the production in and comprehension of fillers such as and in an attempt to determine whether they can be said to be words with meanings that are understood by listeners. To conclude, listeners are highly sensitive to hesitation disfluencies in speech. There is little evidence to suggest that they are intentionally produced and or should be considered to be word in a conventional sense. When humans communicate, their message are conveyed by more than just the word they use. They can, for example, use gesture to indicate what the phrase such as this one refer to, or change their tone of voice shows that the assertion that they love linguistic is not to be taken as face value. As well as these additional components of communication, the word of unprepared spoken language are likely to be accompanied by a range of unintentional error. If, for example, a speaker exchanged the one set of two words by perhaps saying barn door or when intending to say barn door, it is highly unlikely that the exchange is intentional, and the occurrence of accidental speech errors like this may inform us about the nature of speech planning. Between this extreme of intentionality are the influences, or the false starts, repetition, and hesitations that accompany the word that speaker plan and utter. Averaging across several studies, Fox Tree estim, estimates that approximately 6% of words uttered are affected by so some form of disfluency. These disfluencies may not always be accidental. It has been argued that some type of disfluency, such as should be counted among the tools that the speaker has for communicating to the listener. Alongside things such as tone of voice, others, such as false starts, may be due to this speaker editing their own speech. Chief among the potentially communicative disfluencies are the so-called fillers, such as and r, which mark a hesitation on the part of the speaker. In this paper, we investigate the role played by hesitation in human communication, with a particular focus on fielders and the communicative goals they may serve. Here's my table of content. First, where do disfluencies such as fielder occur throughout? Next, what are hesitation, disfluency, and cognitive loads? Third, what's the meaning of and are? In the end, I will tell you guys how to reducing disfluencies in spontaneous speech. After all of this, I will show you a video of a Short talk between Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and see how they using filters, then explain why they were using the filters. Investigation of where disfluencies such as filters occur throughout utterance have as established that they are more likely to occur before content words, such as low-frequent color names. However, Beatty and Butterworth came to a different conclusion when they investigated the distributional properties of disfluencies across a set of recording of two-person conversation. They showed that both low frequency content words and those rated as contextual improbable were likely to be preceded by hesitations such as fillers. When the frequency was held constant, contextual probability still predicts disfluencies. Rather than attributing disfluencies to cognitive load, Betty and Butterworth suggest that speaker might be aware of an element of choice in stating words with low contextual probability and were more likely to be disfluenced for this reason. Next, not enough practice. Research also shows do more practice can reducing hesitation disfluency in your speech, and better preparation can reduce the mood of hesitation very well. Next, what are hesitation disfluencies and what is cognitive load? In spontaneous speech, any form of nonsense poses are called hesitation disfluencies. One of the most common hesitation disfluencies is failure, and what is cognitive load? It is a process that you are phrasing your words and thinking about how to pronounce the word and what it means. The research shows that there is more likely a failure word throughout after cognitive load. Now, let's move on to the next part. What's the meaning of and R? Their meaning is no meaning. There are just two different kinds of delay. Is a longer delay and R is a brief delay. Although there is no meaning in these two words, the study shows that people are more likely to memorize the content that comes after and R. In the field of linguistics, some believe that and R means one is trying throughout an opinion or phrasing what they are going to say next and lead the listener to the points which speaker want to send. Last but not least, how to reduce this fluency in spontaneous speech. First, as I have mentioned before, practice more. Do enough practice before your speech can make you more confident and more fluent about it. Next, choice of word. You should choose the word you are familiar with instead of some words which are uncommon and difficult. This can also help you do your speech more fluency because the word in your speech are those you know very well, and there is this chance that you have a cognitive load, which only happens when you are not familiar with the words. Finally, using silent pause. You should get used to using a silent pause. It is one kind of phrasing, and we all need to learn how and when to use it, but not using fillers. Now, I would like to share you a video from YouTube, and let's see how fillers are here in our daily conversation. Then we'll see how many times and what kind of fillers throughout the speaker in this video. Skip this part. All right. So as you can see here, I have made a small record to count out how many times do the speakers use the fillers and which one is the most frequent. This The first one is and it has been used once. The second one is and it has been used 10 times. The third one is like and it has been used twice. The next is yeah, it has been used twice. After, I mean, it has been used once. The final one, it has been used once. In my opinion, and yeah, can be considered as the speaker was thinking about what he want to say and which word he should use. I mean, like, are more likely throughout when the speaker want to wants the listener to agree with his opinion and reach a consensus. Taken together, the studies have surveyed shows that failure occur in utterance when speakers are uncertain or when they have choice to make. They affect the comprehension process, facilitating understanding and allowing the listener to amend their prediction about what might be said next, or evaluate the speaker's com- confidence in what they are saying. Although this evidence is consistent with the view that some are worse, other studies suggest that they do not have such a status. Speakers may produce them automatically when there is a delay to the speech plan, and it may be the case that any plausible interruption to fluent speech will affect listener in the same way as a filler. So this is my presentation today. Thank you for listening.